Alex Honnold climbed a skyscraper because he could. Last week, Alex Honnold climbed Taipei 101 with no rope, no harness, just chalk and vibes. And Netflix broadcast it live with a 10-second delay, which I assume was so they could cut the commercial if things went sideways. Very thoughtful of them. When he got to the top, he just said sick and waved his arms around. Truly the words of a poet. For the uninitiated, Alex Honnold is a 40-year-old man who has built an entire career around climbing things without safety equipment. This is called free soloing, which sounds like something you do on a Friday night with a guitar, but it's actually just climbing with an aggressive commitment to either success or immediate death. You don't get to have a pretty good free solo. He lived in a van for over a decade, not because he couldn't afford housing, he just preferred it. He once explained he doesn't love living in a car, but what he does love is being able to follow good weather to climbing spots. This is the kind of logic that makes perfect sense if you're already the type of person to climb cliffs without a rope. Normal people would call this homelessness. His mother started climbing at 60 and became the oldest woman to climb El Capitan at 66. Then she did it again at 70 just to break her own record. As you can see, the Honolds are not a normal family. Alex became famous in 2017 when he free soloed El Capitan, a 3,000 foot granite wall in Yosemite. Did it in under 4 hours. Most people can't climb 3 flights of stairs without needing a moment. This man scaled a wall taller than 3 Eiffel Towers using only his fingers and toes. They made a documentary about it called Free Solo, which won an Oscar. And it's basically 100 minutes of watching someone do something that could kill them at any moment, while the filmmakers quietly wrestle with the ethics of filming someone's potential death. Very wholesome viewing. After that climb, scientists decided they needed to scan Alex's brain to figure out what was wrong with him. I say wrong because that's essentially what they were looking for. They put him in an MRI and showed him hundreds of disturbing images. I mean, we're talking mutilated corpses, toilets overflowing with feces, the usual slideshow you show anyone you just met. When a normal person looks at these images, their amygdala, the brain's fear center, right, lights up like a Christmas tree. And Alex's amygdala did nothing. Absolutely nothing. The scientists literally had to check if he even had one, which he does actually. It's there. It just apparently decided to take a permanent vacation. When he came out of the MRI tube, he asked, What? Was that supposed to do something for me? One neuroscientist actually suggested Alex might have burned out his amygdala from overstimulation. Like, he literally used it so much, it just gave up and stopped working. So why Taipei 101? Alex scouted this building in 2013 for a TV project that fell apart. So for 12 years, he's been quietly holding on to the knowledge that yes, technically he could climb this building if someone would let him. Keep in mind, most people can't remember what they wanted for dinner 12 years ago, let alone maybe not even yesterday. This man has been plotting to climb a Taiwanese skyscraper longer than some of his fans have been alive. And when asked why he wanted to do it, his answer was because it's awesome. He now has a wife and 2 daughters, and someone asked if that would change his risk calculus for the future, and he basically said, "No, I never wanted to die," which is why I put so much effort into preparation. While this is technically true, it feels like it's missing some nuance. The building itself is absurd. It's designed to look like stacked Chinese money boxes because the number 8 means prosperity in Chinese, I guess. So it's basically a 101 story good luck charm you can also work in. Inside, between floors 87 and 92, there's a 660-ton gold painted steel bell hanging from 92 cables. And it's called a tuned mass damper, and it swings around to counteract earthquakes and typhoons, which they get occasionally there, as we've seen. Taiwan created an entire mascot around this ball called a damper baby. It comes in 5 collectible colors. I don't know what's more absurd, that they engineered a massive pendulum to keep a skyscraper from falling over, or that they turned it into merchandise. The climb got delayed 24 hours because of rain. And of course, this matters because wet surfaces are slippery. And when you're climbing without equipment, slippery becomes a more consequential adjective. Alex said waiting out the weather was more stressful than the actual climb, which should tell you something about how his brain works. The hardest parts were these architectural features called bamboo boxes, and this 8 sections that overhang outwards. You're basically doing pull-ups at an angle. Most people can't do one pull-up for 64 floors in the middle of the building. Alex described this as a little bit tiring. A little bit tiring. This man is doing pull-ups on the side of a skyscraper for 90 minutes, and he describes it like a moderately difficult hike. Netflix paid him mid 6 figures for this, and he called that paycheck embarrassing, which a lot of people didn't like. He pointed out that some baseball player that nobody's ever heard of gets $170 million for a contract. Meanwhile, Alex is literally risking his life for what amounts to a nice house in the burbs. He also said he would have done it for free. Quote unquote, I would do the thing because I know I can, and it would be amazing. This is a man who has completely transcended the normal relationship between risk and reward. He's not doing this for money. He's not doing it for fame, even though he is getting famous. He's doing this because the building is tall and he wants to climb it. That's his entire motivation. At the top, it was windy. His main thought was, don't fall off the spire. The fact that this was a conscious concern he had while standing on a 101-story building is simultaneously reasonable and deeply unsettling. He took a selfie. Of course he did. Thousands watched from below as his red-shirted silhouette got smaller and smaller. Some fans actually held motivational banners in the windows that he could see through as he's climbing. He couldn't read them because he was busy not dying, but it's the thought that counts.
Oh gosh.
Afterwards, he described the experience as so perfect and so beautiful that he thanked the Taiwanese authorities for having confidence in him, which is a polite way of acknowledging the fact they took a massive legal risk by allowing the man to potentially die on their landmark building while the world watched it live. Crazy world. When asked if this would reshape his sense of self, he said no. He's already climbed El Capitan, so Taipei 101 was just another thing. For most people, climbing a 101-story building without a rope would be the defining moment of their lives. For Alex Honnold, it was a Saturday.